Shalom. So in this video, I want to talk about iron tonic. I want to talk about a tonic that we make, right? Now, we charge this by the moon, right? We use the elements in what we do, and it's very important. So you understand when to cut your herbs for medicines. I'm going to show you a footage of the actual plant that we use, the tree that we use, and where we take from it. I didn't get to complete it by doing the actual making of the tonic, right? Because of time. But I'll explain to you now. So we took the bark of the slippery elm, which is also good for ulcer and acid reflux. That gets rid of all your acid reflux. The slippery elm. You might not be where the tree is, but you can also get the powder where it's grounded out. So you can make like tea and you drink, and that's good for your acid reflux. Now we use the bark of that tree along with the basila tree. When you when you are binding things together, you usually use odd numbers. So because the basila and the slippery elm are two, we use the banana stalk to bind them together, right? So we cut these things 3 days before the new moon, meaning 3 days before the full moon. So we did it on Friday. Monday is going to be the new moon. So that's 3 days. And then we're going to charge it for another 6 days after the new moon. How do we charge it? We pour them in bottles, right? We pour them in these bottles and you bury them under the earth from 3 days before the moon until afterwards. And that's how you charge them and you use them for your medicines. So for people who do hard work and so forth, that's good for you. It's going to be very red according to the because of the slippery. It's good for the blood, it's good for the iron. Now with the full moon, what happens is you get all the sap from the tree at that time. If you understand the relationship with the moon and the earth, then it makes it easier for you, right? So it's just like when you see the full moon, it appears closer to the earth. And what happens with the tide? It rises, right? So the same way it rises is the same thing happens in the earth with the plants. It gets all that water and the root, it takes the water from the root and spread out and it flows through the barks of the trees and go out into it. So it's full of sap at that time. This is why when you're cutting your herbs for the purpose of medicine, you cut it on the full moon. And as I mentioned earlier about the tide rising, you'll find out that you catch more fish when you go fishing on a full moon as opposed to like the black moon. The full moon, the mouths of the fishes get softer, so you always catch a lot of fish. Black moon, the tide always go back. So the moon is very important. Both the sun and the moon is very important when it comes down to agriculture. Now, a lot of people may hear this and think, oh, you're worshiping them. I don't know how they throw worshiping in these conversations, but maybe that's their idea of what worship is then, right? So we use the elements the way they were to be used and with the knowledge of the heavens. So with this, you can now go ahead and make your own tonic and you can charge them the way they're supposed to be charged and then you use it. How we preserve it? We preserve them both ways. We use both the white rum, we use some for what with white rum and some with honey. So if somebody doesn't use alcohol, then you can give them the ones with made out of honey, preserved by honey. Or if they don't mind, you can give whichever. So the preservation is very important. We use white rum and the honey. Those are very good preservatives.
So the sun is not yet over the eastern horizon, so we're in the first hour. As you can see, some place still dark. On the top of the hill there's light, and this is 3 days before the new moon, 3 days before the full moon, right? So we're gonna cut our barks for the sap 3 days before the moon, and then we're gonna let it go for 6 days after the moon. So we're gonna use 9 days, right? So you're just gonna need a piece of this, because when you're doing the tonics or so forth, you use 3. When you're dealing with like medicines, you use 3. Either 3, 5, 7, 9. You use odd numbers. So this is the third thing that's gonna bind these 2. 16%. It's done. I'm going there. 17% in the funny. Get that, come on. Slippery tree. Yeah. Alright. Is that the boss I say?
Slippery, not outside slippery.
Yeah, yeah. Alright. So this is it. Basida bark and the slippery. And we're gonna put it in this first with water, and then we're gonna wash these out, not the plastic, the bottles, and we're gonna store them in this. We're gonna bury them under the earth while the moon is full for 9 days. So 2 way to preserve. We're gonna preserve with the honey and with the white rum.